Okay, you want to buy a gym. You picture opening day first, the lights coming on, the treadmills humming, music playing over a front door that's finally yours, your first members walking in before you've even had coffee. It feels like the finish line. It's the starting line, and the track is uphill, in the rain, while you're carrying the lease. Because opening a gym and owning a successful one turn out to be two very different businesses wearing the same set of dumbbells. Anyone can walk through the front door and see the equipment. The treadmills, the racks, the mirrors. That's the part everyone notices. Behind it is a lease. Payroll. A ventilation system that has to run whether 10 people show up or 500. And a business that quietly makes almost none of its money from what happens on the gym floor. So let's say you did it. You signed the lease. You wired the deposit. The landlord handed you the keys. Now, what exactly did you just buy?
Question 1. What kind of gym did you buy? Gym isn't one business. It's 4 or 5 businesses wearing the same tracksuit. At the bottom, budget chains charge $10 to $20 a month and make their money purely on volume. Rows of machines under fluorescent light, no receptionist, just a keypad and a door that clicks open at 4 a.m. One location can hold 5,000 members and run on a skeleton staff. Above that sit traditional commercial gyms. A weight floor, a class schedule, someone at the front desk who knows your name, usually $40 to $70 a month. Above that, luxury clubs charge $150 or more and sell a lifestyle, not a locker. Eucalyptus towels, a smoothie bar, valet parking for people who could walk the 8 blocks. And at the very bottom of the size scale, a one-on-one training studio might not sell memberships at all. One mirror, one mat, a chalk bucket by the rack. It sells your time with a coach. Same treadmills, more or less. Same mirrors, more or less. Completely different math underneath. So for the rest of this video, we're buying a traditional commercial gym. 8,500 square feet, a $55 monthly membership, room for around 900 members if things go well. Not small enough to be a side hustle, not large enough to lose track of a dollar. And the very first number waiting for you isn't the equipment. It's the landlord.
Question 2. How much does it cost to open the doors? Most first-time owners start adding up treadmills. A few racks, some dumbbells, a handful of machines. The number feels big, but manageable. Then the landlord asks for 3 to 6 months of rent up front as a deposit before a single wall has moved. On a space like ours, that alone can run $30,000 to $50,000. And that's before the building even resembles a gym. The flooring has to survive a dropped barbell without cracking the concrete underneath. Locker rooms need plumbing that wasn't there. A room full of sweating bodies needs industrial ventilation, not a ceiling fan. At roughly $3 to $5 a square foot just for ventilation work, our 8,500 feet alone accounts for a real chunk of that bill. Ripping out and replacing HVAC for a space this size can run $20,000 to $40,000 on its own. Add licenses, insurance, an opening marketing push, and enough cash in reserve to survive the slow months before members show up in real numbers. By the time the front door actually opens, a modest gym like ours can have swallowed anywhere from $350,000 to $600,000. Not $1 of it came from a treadmill. That's enough money to open a small restaurant instead, with one key difference. A restaurant can close for the night. Your gym still has to keep the lights on, the ventilation running, and the door unlocked, whether anyone walks in or not. Which raises the only question that actually matters here. If the equipment isn't where the money went, what exactly are you still paying for every single month, whether anyone walks in or not?
Question 3. What are you actually paying for?
Picture the same room, empty. No treadmills, no racks, no mirrors. Even then, the bills don't stop. Rent, payroll, insurance, utilities, running a ventilation system built for 100 sweating bodies, whether 10 show up or none. For a gym our size, those fixed costs alone can add up to roughly $25,000 a month, due on the 1st, whether the parking lot is full or empty, whether it's a Tuesday in February when 3 people trickle in all day, or a Monday in January when the lot looks like a car dealership. That number matters more than almost anything else in this business, because it's the line every single month has to clear before you make a dollar,
and it doesn't care what day it is or what the weather did to attendance. The equipment helps people work out. It doesn't pay the lease. So where does that $25,000 actually come from?
Question 4. How does a gym actually make money? Ask most people where a gym makes its money, and they'll point at the front desk. Memberships. They're right. Mostly. Walk 20 feet farther inside, and you start finding businesses hiding inside the first one. A trainer running a session, a cooler full of protein shakes, a shelf of branded shirts, a yoga class starting in the studio. They all make money, but none of them know how to find customers. The membership does. Take away the members and the trainer has nobody to coach. The smoothie cooler becomes a refrigerator full of expired drinks, and the yoga instructor teaches an empty room. That's why experienced owners don't think of these as separate businesses. They think of them as businesses renting the membership. It brings people through the front door. Everything else simply waits inside. That's also why owners rarely obsess over today's smoothie sales or how many shirts left the shelf this week. They watch something much quieter. How many people will still be paying next month? Because if the membership disappears, everything built on top of it disappears too. Question 5. Why does a membership change the math? Think about a restaurant. A customer orders, pays, leaves, and tomorrow morning the business starts from zero again. A gym doesn't. A member joins once, signs a form, gets handed a key tag. Then every month, the decision gets made again, usually without anyone standing at the front desk, without another sales pitch, without another tour. One conversation can quietly become 3 years of payments. That's why experienced owners don't celebrate when someone joins. They celebrate when someone doesn't leave. A new membership feels exciting. A renewal usually happens so quietly nobody even notices it. But that's the payment covering the lease. That's the payroll. That's the light staying on. A membership isn't just a customer. It's a promise to pay again, and again, and again. The newest member isn't necessarily the most valuable one. The member who's been quietly paying for 2 years, whose face the front desk barely remembers, usually is. Which leads to a strange conclusion. Some of the most valuable members in the entire business are the ones who barely use it. That sounds completely backwards, until you remember what the gym is actually selling. Question 6. How can the same treadmill be sold 900 times? By now you've probably noticed something strange. We're planning for around 900 members. Walk through the gym at any given hour and you won't find anywhere close to 900 people in it. 20 treadmills, 900 members. On paper, that looks like a mistake. It isn't. You were never selling treadmills. You were selling access to them. And access behaves nothing like ownership. An airline doesn't own one plane per ticket sold. A hotel doesn't build one room for every person who might visit the city someday. A gym doesn't buy one treadmill per member on its books, because almost nobody wants the exact same treadmill at the exact same moment. Some people train before sunrise. Others come after dinner. Most show up 2 or 3 times a week, not 7. At any single hour, a gym built for 900 members might realistically need to seat somewhere around 80 to 100 of them at once. That's the number the building, the parking lot, and the 20 treadmills are actually sized for, not 900. The other 800 are still paying. They're just not in the room. The business isn't selling machines. It's selling the odds that one will be for you when you want it. Which raises an uncomfortable question. What happens if members actually started using everything they were paying for? Question 7. Why doesn't the gym actually want you to show up? Picture 2 members. Both pay the same $55 a month. One trains 4 times a week. She puts real wear on the treadmill belt, needs towels laundered, runs the hot water in the shower, and takes up floor space during the exact hour the gym is most crowded. The other paid in January, felt good about it, and hasn't been back since March. Which one is worth more to the business? You'd guess the one who actually shows up. It's the other one. The active member costs the gym real money. Wear on the belt, hot water, a load of towels, a body in the way during rush hour. Call it a few real dollars a month. The one who never comes back costs almost nothing. No towel, no hot water, no line at the squat rack. Pays full price.
Costs nothing. Peak customer. Same $55. Almost entirely different cost to deliver it. That's not a flaw in the business. It's most of the business. A gym is built to sell far more capacity than it could ever actually host at once. And that only works because most members don't use what they're paying for. Your sales tour guide will show you the mirrors, the juice bar, the group class schedule. Nobody points at the quiet guy in accounting and says, he's rooting for you to skip Tuesday. But once a year, the whole quiet arrangement gets tested.
Question 8. What happens every January? For 11 months, attendance follows a pattern the building was designed around. Some mornings, some evenings, never everyone at once. Then January arrives, and the pattern disappears overnight. Roughly a fifth of an entire year's new memberships can land inside those first few weeks. The parking lot fills. Every treadmill is taken. For the first time all year, your gym feels too small. A rush hour subway car with barbells. Nothing about the business actually changed. Same equipment, same staff, same building. Only the number of people trying to use it at once. You can't buy twice the treadmills for 3 busy weeks. They'd sit half empty the other 11 months. So experienced owners don't panic, and they don't celebrate too early either because they already know how this ends. By some estimates, half of new members stop showing up within 6 months. Of the ones who joined specifically as a resolution, most have quietly stopped coming back before summer. The parking lot empties again. The gym quietly goes back to being a fairly expensive co-working space for 3 dedicated regulars and 1 very patient personal trainer. A membership sold in January is only the beginning of the story. Its real value depends on February, March, and every quiet month after that, when nobody's watching whether they still come. Question 9. Can one member be worth far more than another? 2 members, same membership, same equipment, same front door. Until one of them hires a trainer. A trainer working purely one-on-one at $70 a session can realistically handle about 20 sessions a week without burning out. Do the math across a working year, and that's a hard ceiling of roughly $70,000. Not because the trainer isn't good, because there are only so many hours in a week, and the trainer only has 1 body to put in each of them. Put 3 clients in that same hour at $35 each, and the math changes. Feels like charging less per person should mean less money overall. It doesn't. That single hour now brings in $105 instead of $70. More revenue, and each client pays less than they would one-on-one. The gym keeps a cut of all of it, say 40%, to cover the space, the insurance, the equipment those sessions run on. Notice what didn't happen. No new building, no new parking lot, no extra row of treadmills. The same 8,500 square feet just started producing more money by selling one member's time differently than another's. That's the second engine sitting quietly inside a business that looks, from the outside, like it only sells access to a room. Neither engine on its own is bulletproof.
Question 10. How do you make the same gym earn twice? Picture the group class studio at 2 in the afternoon. Lights on, mirrors clean, not one person inside. That room costs exactly the same whether it's empty or packed with people. The lease doesn't check attendance. So if you wanted this gym to earn more, what would you actually buy? Another treadmill? Probably not. The treadmill was never the scarce resource. The room is. Book that same studio with a cycling class before work, personal training at noon, and a small group session after dinner. 1 room, 3 completely different businesses. The walls never changed. The lease never changed. Only what happened inside them. Do that across just 2 rooms in the building, and you can add another $3,000 to $5,000 a month without paying another dollar of rent. That's when a gym stops behaving like a room full of equipment and starts behaving like a platform. The expensive part is already behind you. Every additional class is built on space you've already paid for. Every hour that sits empty disappears forever. You can never sell 2 o'clock yesterday. That's the real difference between opening a gym and owning one. A first-time owner buys equipment. An experienced owner buys utilization. Because once the lease is signed, your most expensive asset is an empty hour.
Question 11. What happens when something goes wrong? So far, every number assumed the neighborhood stays yours. Remember the member from question 6? The one who barely comes, whose card just quietly charges every month out of habit? That habit is the whole business. It only holds as long as there's nothing cheaper to switch to. 18 months in, there is. A budget chain opens 2 miles away. $19 a month. No contract. No frills. You don't lose your whole membership base overnight. Sounds like it should. It doesn't. Not all at once. You lose exactly the members that habit was carrying. The price-sensitive edge of it. The ones who were never fully committed. The ones who joined because it was convenient, not because they loved the place. Cheap and nearby is enough to finally break the inertia. Churn, which normally runs around 30% a year, climbs toward 45%. To hold on to who's left, you drop your own price. Revenue falls faster than costs do. The lease doesn't get cheaper because the neighborhood got competitive. Neither does payroll. Welcome to the only industry where your biggest fixed cost refuses to participate in market reality. The parking lot still looks reasonably full most evenings. Nothing about the gym visibly changed. But the $25,000 a month is still due on the 1st, and the members quietly covering it are fewer than they used to be. This is the part that never shows up on a walkthrough. No fire, no scandal, just a slightly higher cancellation rate, a slightly slower January, compounding month after month until the number at the bottom of the spreadsheet stops looking like the plan. The gyms that survive years like this aren't the ones with the fullest parking lot in June. They're the ones that never spent the January cash as if it were permanent.
Final question. Was buying the gym actually worth it? Let's put the whole year on paper. You put roughly $450,000 into deposits, build-out, and equipment before the doors ever opened. Then the clock started. About $25,000 a month in fixed costs, roughly $300,000 a year, due whether one person walked through the door or 1,000. In the version where things go right, you reach your membership target. Most members quietly keep paying. Personal training grows alongside it. The empty hours inside the building gradually disappear. A gym this size can generate somewhere between $650,000 and $800,000 a year. After costs, an owner might keep roughly $70,000 to $110,000. A respectable return. Not extraordinary, but real. Now change almost nothing. The building stays the same. The treadmills stay the same. The mirrors stay the same. The lease certainly stays the same. A competitor opens nearby. More members cancel. A few fewer people renew. Personal training slows. A couple more empty hours appear every day. Revenue slips. The fixed costs don't. Some months the business barely breaks even. Neither owner bought a different gym. Neither owner managed it dramatically worse than either. The difference wasn't the equipment. It wasn't even the members who showed up. It was the members who kept paying, without needing the gym at exactly the same time. You thought you were buying treadmills. You were buying recurring revenue, limited capacity, and thousands of future decisions made by people you'd probably never meet. Welcome to the only business where your best customer is the one who never shows up. The sales tour shows you the equipment. Ownership begins where the tour ends.
If you enjoy discovering the hidden economics behind everyday businesses, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.